What's up, everybody? It's Sid and Millie back with another episode. Thank you so much for joining us. As you know, Manchester United played earlier today, so we are going to be using our tactical board here to break down the game and kind of chat about a little more of the technical aspects and the fields. I don't even know what to call it, but
Yeah,
you know
I
what I'm
hear you.
talking about,
Yeah,
Millie.
definitely. So yeah, Manchester United had their match today. They obviously tied Paris Saint-Germain, the defending European champions. So a really good result for Manchester United, but more than just kind of basic result. United actually played really well. They did a lot of good things throughout the match. Caused a lot of issues for Paris Saint-Germain, and as well as that, they created opportunities to win the game as well. And I think that was largely down to the formation from Carrick, from the lads, the press being executed well, United winning the ball in dangerous parts of the pitch, and United, of course, scoring when they had the opportunity to do so. So those sorts of things we, of course, love to see from the squad, and I think they did a really good job today. So yeah, we're gonna break it down a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Millie. So, as we're getting this all set up, I'm just trying to basically mirror what you did.
Oh,
I know that
got you.
it's probably different, but I'm just trying to
Yeah.
get them all in the general areas that
All
you have
right.
put yours in.
Cool. Thank you.
So,
Thank you. So of course, Manchester United will be in the red. PSG will be in the yellow. I'm gonna just make a couple of adjustments to
please
this
do.
PSG lineup here. This is more so what they were rocking today.
Okay.
So PSG was rocking a three. I believe this is what it was.
Mhm.
It was kind of hard to follow. PSG was a very fluid team as well, so they had a lot
Okay.
of guys interchanging and stuff. But I believe that's roughly how they set up with three in the back, four in the
Okay.
midfield, three up top. But
Very nice.
so yeah, so this is essentially how the game was set up, how we started the match, and yeah, let's get straight into
Let's
it.
get right
So
into
as
it.
we know from United's starting lineup today, out at right back we had Mazrari. Starting at right center back was Harry Maguire. At left center back was Aiden Heaven. At left back we had Luke Shaw. In goal, of course, we had Tom Heaton. As our sixth defensive midfielder was Andori Santos. Our eight today, of course, was Mason Mount before he picked up his injury, and then it was I almost called him Tyrone. Tyler Fletcher. Our 10 was Shea Lacey at the start of the match. Ahmad out as our 7. Then we had Brian Mbembo up as our number 9. And then on the left, we had Patrick Dorgu. So that was our starting 11 for today's match. So yeah, pretty strong starting 11. We
Yes.
know that Bruno Tielemans were on the bench and later came off the bench, as well as Dallo and Lenny Euro as well.
Yep.
Heaton picked up an injury, so he came off for me, who came on, not me literally, but me with two E's, the goalkeeper. He subbed on for Tom Heaton in the start of the second half.
Yep.
And then Fletcher came on as the 8 for Mason Mount when he got injured in the 20th minute or so. So those were kind of some of the changes that we saw, at least. Well, the Mason Mount one was really the only one in the
Early,
first half.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's get into
Get
it.
into
So
it.
from our baseline, our base, we know kind of what Carrick wants to do. We
Right.
know the style of football he wants to play. He wants to build up from the back, play possession, and then be purposeful in the way we possess. So a lot of times, let's go ahead and get our guys, get our field like kind of properly mixed in here.
All
Let's see.
right. So this is now we're playing the
Uh,
sport.
yeah, now we're into the game. Yeah. So we'll keep the ball. Let's keep the ball up here for now.
Okay. So
Because first thing I want
what's
to
your
talk about is
thought process right now? Just like
So
moving all the players around.
I should have left that as their 6. Right now I'm kind of looking at essentially how when the ball is in play, how everybody will kind of fall into place. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So that's kind of what I'm going for. Nothing too crazy here.
Okay, got
But
it.
yeah, so just kind of moving everybody to kind of show where everybody is going to fall when the ball is in play.
Okay, so
So
typically like the 6 would defend against the 10 kind of
exactly.
thing.
Yep.
Okay,
And
got
then
it.
the other midfielders are all kind of matched up. But
Got it.
because of their formation, I believe they did have a slight overload in the midfield at times. So yeah, so this was kind of generally how we were set up.
Okay.
But what we were seeing a lot of in the match was, Brian kind of in this position when PSG would be knocking the ball amongst their back three. We'd see kind of Brian picked up in the hole of the 6, and then we were seeing Shea Lacey kind of stepping out to start setting some of these press lines in different areas. But in doing so, he was also keeping an eye on this guy in behind and wasn't allowing them to, slip in to play that sort of pass. So we saw it a few times. But the key moment really was Ahmad over here on this side. So their left center back was picking the ball up in this sort of position. And Ahmad was just like teasing him, letting him think that he had time and space, and let him take that slightly big touch, and then boom, Ahmad was upon him.
Wow.
And immediately winning the ball. He did it 2 separate times. The first time when he won it, he got around the guy he won it off of, cut it back. Brian was here. This defender cut across. Brian took his touch to the left and then cut across his body for the finish. And that was United's tying goal, which was absolutely brilliant.
Beautiful.
But it all is predicated on Ahmad in this press here to win the ball at this position. And again, there are a lot of key things that have to happen to allow this press from Ahmad to work, right? So we have to have Brian teed with their 6, so they have no easy outlet to their midfielder who could then play out and get the ball switched, right? So Brian was tight in the midfield. Lacey was with his man, no easy passes. We know that Santos was gobbling anything that came into this area. Sorry for the word choice. He was really dominant in the midfield though. And of course we had Mason Mount and then Fletcher marking the other one. So we're man marked everywhere in the midfield.
Wow.
So there's no easy ball for this left center back to play in this position, because in a 3-back system, this is what can happen when you're getting pressed by a winger. You can get isolated away from your wing back who is already higher up the pitch. And this is exactly what happened with Ahmad. He did a great job of cutting off the option to the wing back. And in doing so, this guy really had no choice. He had no options. His only real options were back to his goalkeeper and back to this guy. But by the time that thought process went in his head, Ahmad had already won the ball.
Yeah.
So fantastic from Ahmad, that recognition, but also that timing, and from the rest of the group to make sure that they were in the right positions to allow the press to be successful in that moment. And obviously we scored 1 goal with Ahmad's cut back to Brian, and Ahmad's second cut back was a little bit unlucky. He got into a position right here, and then, everybody kind of crashed the 6 and he cut it back, but there wasn't really anybody in that position at that time. So it was a bit unlucky, but still unbelievable from Ahmad to win the ball in those positions. And then now we can talk about like the goal that Man United gave up. Obviously it was pretty early in the game, so we got a little bit caught out here. I believe this guy had picked up the ball, or maybe it was this brother. And so I believe what happened was Dorgu is going to press here, but he was able to play the ball into this guy, right? So he played into this lane, probably because we were a little bit too narrow, so we didn't properly cut off this passing lane. So we played into the forward. This dragged Maguire out of position. We had not Mount at the time. At the time, it was actually Santos was over here. I believe, something like that. Anyway, Maguire was out of position. They played back into a midfielder who was then able, I believe it was this guy had come into this side, whoever their captain was at the start of the match. And he played a big switch over to this guy. So we were all kind of caught on this side of the pitch. Maguire had gotten caught up and the forward was able to bump it back. They played a big switch across the field and we were completely caught out. So this was one of the dangers of, getting dragged in with the early press. So we got in trying to win the ball in a good position. Had United won the ball in this position with the press, we could have been talking about something completely different happening. This could have been a situation where United closed in and we were going directly to goal had we won the ball. But that just isn't how this this one worked out for us. So they get the big switch in. We were in a little bit of a tough situation with Mazrari simply because they had a runner. I'm not sure again which player exactly it was, but they had a runner go in behind Mazrari. We had Mason Mount kind of following this guy. They played past Mazrari before he could really have an impact on the ball. And then the real issue is that we were slow closing this guy to the cross. So then it was Heaven with the guy at the back post. And this was essentially how they got in behind. So once they played into this guy past Mazrari, he was trying to track back. Santos, of course, was trying to track back. Mount didn't get close enough to block the cross. The cross went in behind Heaven for the tap in.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit unlucky. We just got caught out slightly with the switch and play. You know, they were able to play through the pressure in this area, and it led to a big switch. And then when the ball got out to this guy, we weren't able to prevent him from playing anywhere there, and then also weren't able to make any meaningful impact on this guy to stop the cross. And then the cross was honestly inch perfect. I mean, it was a tough situation for Heaven because again, you're facing your own goal, so your options are, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he could have scored an own goal.
Exactly.
Sort of
yeah. So it was a little bit of a tough one in that situation, but yeah, let's move back. So yeah, move it back up here. Get our guys back reorganized. Get McGuire back in his spot. Or I guess whatever. I switched them. Doesn't matter too much.
Okay.
Yeah. 10. Put him with our 6. Put our 10 up here. Oh, this is our 9. All right.
Beauty.
Nice. So yeah. Let's see. So yeah. So this is, again, basically a basic lineup of United, but some of the areas in which United was doing, you know, really, really well. Where did this guy come from? Oh, I was like, what is this extra lad doing? United was doing a really good job of building through our midfield. And additionally with that, so a lot of times when Santos is picking up the ball, Santos is constantly looking forward. And it is exactly what we need from a defensive midfielder. He's not satisfied with just playing side to side and, you know, switching the point of attack. Like, absolutely not. He wants to play these forward passes, and he was doing it throughout the entire match.
Wow.
And it was fantastic seeing this level of forward passing, because that's the sort of identity that United wants to have. They want to play forward. They want to create chances. And Santos was a big part of that today. Every time he received the ball, he's playing forward, playing into outside mids, whether it was Dorgu, whether it was Ahmad on the right. When those two were switched, or when Dorgu was floating into the inside, Santos was looking for balls through the midfield to cut and start our attack.
Wow,
He did such a great job of doing that. He was finding Lacey in there. Finding Lacey in there at times, and a lot of times when Brian was coming back to find the ball in the space underneath the back three, Santos was able to play to him as well. And yeah, he was just doing a fantastic job of looking for those passes, making sure that he could find them, and kind of forcing the attack to start by playing those forward passes. So that was a really great job by Santos to do that. And then of course we chatted about it in our on our, you know, post-match conversation, but another thing that was very effective for United today was the big switch. So at times when the field was a little bit more tucked in, you know, we would always have that winger kind of just sitting out here, and whether it was Aiden Heaven Maguire on this side, pinging this ball over to the outside, skipping all of the noise in the midfield, going straight to our outside mid and putting them in positions to run at people. We saw it with Heaven on this side doing the exact same thing when the field was shifted over in this direction, and Heaven was getting the ball in these sorts of positions and pinging the ball out to Ahmad in these sorts of positions. And again, that is what we want to start our attack. It's like a jump start, right? We know the midfield was clogged up. There were a lot of numbers in the midfield, and our center backs didn't have, you know, always the easiest option to play to. So why even put yourself in that sort of danger? They ping the ball out to our outside mid, and Ahmad already immediately running at the player. It was just fantastic seeing it in both Harry Maguire and Aiden Heaven were doing the exact same thing. They were able to ping the ball successfully to both of the outside mids, and at times even Harry Maguire was able to play the ball into the channel in behind the outside center back and find Brian in behind, and that created an opportunity at one point in the match as well. So a lot of these more direct balls, like we chatted about, it just adds another dimension to United's attack, right?
Okay.
We can play through the midfield through Santos. We can play forward. We know our midfielders are trying to play forward. Our midfielders can also take space with the ball at their feet.
Mm-hmm.
They're not afraid to take space. We know that Harry Maguire can take space with the ball at his feet.
We know that.
And now, exactly. And now on top of that, we know our center backs are willing to ping this ball to release our outside mids to immediately jumpstart our attack as well.
Yes.
So we have a lot of different dynamics and elements to our squad that can hurt other teams. And that's really what we saw today with the way that United was playing. And it was just brilliant throughout the match. There were a lot of good plays of football, a lot of times in which Mazraoui found himself in higher positions, attacking, creating on the right side. There was a lot of great combination with Ahmad on the right side. A lot of our opportunities came from the combination between these two players. Just again, that link up play is so important.
Yeah.
In the second half with Dallo, Dallo, we know loves getting up the line. So Dallo was constantly making this run forward, looking for balls in behind. He got one of the times from Maguire, a crossfield ball in which put Dallo in behind in a dangerous position in the second half. And again, it's just highlighting the range that United has to hurt their opponents.
Yes.
Because those sorts of balls are constantly going to be on in the Premier League. And sometimes if the center backs are under pressure, it's okay to hit that ball anyway. Why not ping the ball out wide if someone is pressing you?
Yeah, that's
Relieve
true.
the pressure, right?
Versus like trying to pass within their own half.
Exactly, in a congested area, because the last thing we want to do is play a short pass into Santos and have somebody pick that off. You know what I mean? So that's why we really want to be smart with the passes in these sorts of areas of the pitch. And I think even when Tielemans came on, and he took out over kind of as a 6, kind of as an 8, kind of as a pivot in the midfield with Bruno. When Tielemans was picking up the ball, he was also constantly looking for, that's a 6. He was constantly looking for these passes into Bruno's feet, into these sorts of areas, regardless of where Tielemans picked up the ball. He wanted to play forward, wanted to get the attack started. And of course, Bruno, in true Bruno fashion, was floating in all of these dangerous areas to try and pick up the ball from Tielemans to create. So we saw the chance that was created when Tielemans found Bruno, and then Bruno kind of played the half cross shot across goal that went out. And then we also saw Xerxes dropping off underneath when Bruno had gotten created a shot for Bruno, when a little combination with Xerxes in the second half. So we like to see that sort of fluidity in our attack. We like to see our 9s dropping off, receiving the ball from the center backs. That was happening a good bit of time throughout the game. And even from our 6, right? Like sometimes Santos is dropping in between our center backs, which is also okay to do as well, just to pick up possession and get on the ball. And even from these positions, Santos was able to play into Brian Mbembo, play into Xerxes. So again, those sorts of movements, it's just going to continue to make United a very dynamic team, make certain players hard to watch, hard to follow throughout the pitch, which is going to help us inevitably.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I know you said, what was it? Is it the 10 where like Bruno and Lacey were playing?
Yeah.
Because you were saying that Lacey was kind of doing a lot of the similar things, like moving around the pitch a lot, similar to Bruno.
Yep.
Which is really cool and really good to see, especially because, again, like they're going to be in multiple tournaments this year. Yeah. So like you need someone who's going to be dynamic, because Bruno can't play 90 minutes every single game.
Right. He'll try to. He's going to try.
We know he's going to try to, but we need him well for the whole season.
Yeah, exactly. And to your point, I mean, like the same way Bruno is, we know Lacey can play out on the wings. We know that he's naturally a winger. So even him getting kind of this debut as the 10 in this more midfield role, it's just like you said, it's creating another option for United
Yep.
in games. Maybe, there's going to be a weekend where we have a Premier League game on Sunday, but then we have a Champions League game on Wednesday. And,
Yeah.
maybe around 70 minutes, we're up 3-1 or we're up 3-0. And, Carrick is thinking, okay, we've got to rest some lads for the week game, the midweek game in
Yep.
the Champions League. And so those are the moments where we might see Bruno, might see Mainu, might see key guys getting subbed off to save their legs for the
Yep.
Champions League. And yeah, to your point, like we're going to need players like Xerxes, like Lacey, who can plug into multiple positions to be able to fill in for those tired legs. And especially with the injuries, right? We saw both Luke Shaw had a little niggle, a little something, crazy word choice. All right. He had a little something. It wasn't like a serious injury, but he was a little slow to get up, was able to keep playing, but then went off, in the first set of subs for Harry Amos.
Right.
So hopefully Luke doesn't have anything too serious. We saw Mason Mount go off after 20 minutes. Obviously don't know what happened there, no indication of what's happened there, but any player who goes off after 20 minutes, that it's most likely a muscular sort of injury, typically, because there was no like impact that caused
there
the
was
injury.
nothing where they were like, look at this replay of how he was just injured sort of thing. Yeah.
So he could have felt a little twinge, a little tweak, a little something that made him be like, hey, it's not worth the risk.
Not worth it for the preseason.
Exactly. So hopefully, again, wasn't anything too serious. Tom Heaton's was a little bit more of a clear-cut hamstring pull. That's, typically a 6 to 8 week injury. You know what I mean? I mean, there's really no way around a hamstring pull.
Yeah, you know that better than people.
Suffered with quite a few of those.
Unfortunately.
So I know, speedy recovery to Tommy Heaton. He has some great saves today. So we know that those sorts of things can happen. So yeah, it's going to be massively important that we have guys that can fill in these sorts of positions. To make sure that we're going to make it the full distance.
Yes.
I thought Mazraoui was fantastic on the right side today. I also thought Dallo put in a good shift, a good first game back from vacation. I thought he was really good out there as well. So I feel like our right back position is a little bit locked down. I feel very comfortable with Mazraoui, Dallo fighting for minutes and locking down that right back position.
Okay.
So I feel good about that spot. For center back, kind of the same thing. At right center back, we know Harry Maguire can play here with Aiden Heaven. Harry Maguire would prefer to play left center back, but when duty calls, Harry answers. So Harry Maguire, we know right center back, completely locked down. Lenny Euro is a great option. He'll be an important member of the squad. As we know, he's going to be fighting for minutes again with Aiden Heaven. But again, Aiden Heaven has just been fantastic.
He's been so good, solid.
Just unbelievable. What a player he is. What genuinely. A player. An absolute bargain he was on the transfer window.
Really?
Buying him as like a youth player and immediately integrating him to the full team. So Aiden Heaven, I think it's pretty secure. He's going to be starting at left center back. Fantastic.
That's awesome.
That's really good. Luke Shaw at the left back, I think he's got it. Yeah. Obviously, we don't have any options. We know Mazraoui can play over here.
Right.
We've seen Dallo do it a couple times. Obviously, not ideal having a right-footed player playing left back.
Valid.
I can attest to that. Not my favorite when you got to cross with your left foot.
Fair.
But anyway, so we obviously wishing Luke Shaw just good health for the entire season. That's really what we need. Facts. Another full season from Luke Shaw. If we get that, I'd say we're pretty secure at left back. Yeah. Otherwise, again, you've got Mazraoui potentially as a backup, and also Harry Amos, who's been proving himself, throughout this preseason.
Yeah.
In the midfield, of course, we've got Adri Santos. He's been fantastic all of preseason. Has transitioned from Chelsea beautifully. And you can already see why Carrick appreciates him and how Carrick wants to utilize his ability to play forward, play through the lines, but also to be a key ball winner in these sorts of areas. I mean, Santos does a great job of winning the ball back. And I think that's going to be immensely important in the midfield for us. As far as these positions, of course, Mason Mount now has his injury, so a little bit questionable, unsure. But we know we've got Tielemans. We know we've got Kobe Mainu. Mainu also can play as the 6. So, there's a lot of potential in these positions for Santos, Tielemans, Mainu to potentially have a little combination fight for those last 2 midfield positions. Of course, our captain, Bruno, the 10. That's Bruno Fernandes. We don't really need to discuss
There's
that.
no competition there, but he may
Bruno,
need someone to sub on for him sometimes.
The most creative midfielder in Europe is going to continue to play games. I think that's pretty clear. Outside mid, Ahmad, I think he's got that outside mid, right winger, whatever you want to call it, right forward. He's got it locked down. This is Amad Diallo's position. There's really no question about it. He will start in this position and he will get us 20 goals and assists this season. Amad Diallo, period. Up top.
You heard it here first.
And I know Brian Mbembo can also play in that position. He can come on, cut onto his left. But Brian also plays as a 9, as we know. So while Šeško is still kind of dealing with this injury, it's likely that Brian will start up top, with Xerxes coming on for him. Let's see what happens with Šeško's injury. He could potentially be the starter at the 9 as well. True. So again, there's a lot of competition in these spots. We also know Rashford can play as the 9. So again, Rashford is going to be someone who's going to run in behind a lot and really challenge defenses, athletically in behind. So we have a lot of potential options for our number 9 position, feeling pretty sturdy and solid about that.
That's fair.
Left mid, Dorgu's been holding it down in preseason so far. He's been doing well. We know Dorgu's athleticism is fantastic. He's such a hard worker, but has great ability on the ball as well. And I think he's going to be immensely important for United this season. I personally also think Dorgu could potentially slot in as the left back. I don't understand why people don't see it with his athleticism, his defensive ability, with his strength, and with his endurance. I mean, he's a through and through left back. If you can play left mid and defend, you can also play left back.
Valid, okay.
So I think, again, he's in this position, but we know Cunha is going to be coming back. Cunha is going to be fighting for this position. We know that Cunha is a star guy for Brazil, for Manchester United. He's a goal scorer, playmaker. He's going to be immensely important for United. So you've got Cunha potentially probably going to be a starter here. Rashford, we know, prefers the right side. He loves being on the right side. And I forgot, of course, to mention Shea Lacey over there, but also potentially in the midfield somewhere. So let's see where Shea Lacey fits into that. But as our left mid position, again, tons of options. Cunha, Rashford, potentially Dorgu, potentially Brian Mbembo. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I'm hearing a lot of chatter online about people being salty that United hasn't signed more players in the transfer window. But we really do have a very solid core group. This United team can challenge for Premier League right now. I feel that confidently. I'm watching them play. I'm seeing the development in Carrick's style and in the way Carrick is implementing his brand of football on this team. And it gels perfectly with the personnel that are on this team. So that going hand in hand with the signings we've already brought in and the players we already have, I think we've got serious contention ability. Definitely. I mean, you're talking about wonder kids that we have: Shea Lacey, Kobe Mainu, Rashford coming back, a now La Liga champion with Barcelona, coming off of a season like that, bringing a league winning mentality back into our locker room. It is going to positively influence this group.
We love that.
And so, this Man United team has a lot of potential. They're going to be challenging for titles this year. No questions asked. And let's hope that Ineos makes maybe one more move in the transfer window, but I don't think it's going to make or break our season at this stage in the window. I think we already have a really solid starting 11. So anybody else that's brought in will really just be, a squad player, someone who can fill in and be a key substitution. But I don't really see anybody being signed that's going to be competing right away for these starting positions.
That's valid.
I just don't see it. Not at this current stage.
No, it's pretty this. The squad's pretty stacked.
The squad is stacked.
We
have our lightest amount of reinforcements in the midfield, 100%. That is a fact. We do have the lightest amount of reinforcements there. But with that said, we still have competition there. You know what I'm saying? So it's finding that right balance between competition and, you know, playing who's in their momentum, who's in
Right.
that vibe. Because again, you don't want to have players like Kobe Mainu going unused with their talent, with their ability to
Not at
impact
all.
games. But at the same breath, you also don't want to have Tielemans just saved for the Champions League, right?
Well,
You know,
right.
these
Yeah,
are
there's a
all
balance.
exactly. These are all players that they have to get minutes. They need to get minutes in
Yep.
order to really have the true impact of their
Facts.
potential this season. But again, I trust Carrick. I trust him to do the right things
Gotta.
and make the right decisions. And with that, at the end of the day, results are king, right? You know, if a
Yep.
lineup starts a game and it doesn't work well and the midfield's on balance, the manager's not going to start them again. So
Facts.
again, you know, with this level of competition within the group right now, people are going to have to be on it from day one. You know, you're one off game or one mistake to a goal from the next person in line getting that opportunity, and they could grasp it.
No, it's true.
And that's a fantastic thing to have within this Manchester United group.
Honestly, yeah, because then it really just makes sure that nobody's comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, like nobody
Yeah.
can just be complacent with their role, and
Yeah, exactly.
you know, there's always going to be the competition.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so this was like our tactical board session for Manchester United's match against PSG today. A preseason game which ended 1-1, but a really good result for Manchester United against the defending European champions. Manchester United was really dominant in the midfield, dominant in possession. And even when they were defending, they did a really good job of making sure no dangerous chances were created against them. And with that being said, I'm really excited for the next match, Leeds United, coming up on Wednesday.
Yes, yeah, you will see us back here then.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you made it this far,
Thanks for watching.
and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.